Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Welcome back, and delighted to have back with us today Avi Davis. He's the editor of the Intermediate Zone and president of American Freedom Alliance. His commentary on Israel and the Middle East, perhaps you've seen them or read them in the Los Angeles Times, the Chicago Tribune, USA Today, and the American Thinker. And he's got some interesting things to talk to us today about what's going on with Israel and the re-election of Prime Minister Netanyahu and about. Hi, Avi. Good to see you. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Terrific. How are you, Perry? It's very nice to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. Well, listen, what is the anti-Israel Obama party? What's going on there?
Well, it's a very strange set of circumstances, isn't it, with the president seeming to want to influence the situation in Israel, the elections in Israel. And of course, we've seen recently the invitation by John Boehner, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, to Benjamin Netanyahu to address a joint session of Congress on the 3rd of March without supposedly notifying the White House. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that Netanyahu and Obama just don't get along. Yeah. It's very much a personal struggle between these two people. And as a result, it has seemed to have infected their, well, at least Obama's statecraft, because Israel is a very important ally in the Middle East. And the only stable democracy, its intelligence services are highly valued for the purposes of detecting what is happening with ISIS and with Hezbollah and Iran, and a whole host of other reasons. And unfortunately, Barack Obama has allowed his personal animus to, in some way, influence the way that he has handled Israel, which is the mark of what I would mark of tremendous immaturity on the part of the president.
I find his whole behavior towards Israel, and in particular Prime Minister Netanyahu, to be stunning. As you alluded to, our strongest ally in the Middle East, we have mistreated them. We have been very unpolite. We've been disrespectful, and the list goes on. I just don't get it. And then, of course, and this whole flap over him coming in March 3rd to address the joint session of Congress, it's not as if he hasn't done that before.
Absolutely. And in fact, he did exactly the same thing in 2011. The protocol was exactly the same. In other words, Boehner invited him, informed the White House. The White House didn't utter a peep. And Netanyahu conducted the address without any problems whatsoever, and actually was invited to meet with Obama at the time. This has just been escalated by the White House maybe for political purposes, mostly for personal reasons, I believe. I think that it's important to note, Perry, that Netanyahu was really taking the measure of the president and sees him as only having a couple of years left in office. He understands the presidents come and go, but congressional seats are held for much longer. And as a result, he feels it's important to cultivate the members of Congress who've always been supportive of Israel, tremendously supportive over the last 40 years in all manner of crises. Therefore, it's become it's become incumbent upon him to reach out to Congress, because within that gallery on March 3rd may be sitting the next president of the United States.
Yeah, no question about it. The other thing is that the Congress is certainly closer to the people than the president is, and especially after this past midterm election and the turnover in the House and the Senate, I would say that the Prime Minister is heading into a very sympathetic session and will be heard with great enthusiasm.
No question about it. I think that Congress is extremely concerned, as is the state of Israel, about the rise of nuclear Iran. It doesn't have very much faith in the negotiations being conducted in Geneva, and it feels that Iranian influence is spreading across the Middle East in a very alarming way, particularly with the fall of the American allied government in Yemen, and the rise, of course, of ISIS in Iraq and Syria, Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, and Hamas in Gaza. All of these things have created this archipelago of Iranian influence that I think that many of the members of Congress are extremely concerned about and do not think the Obama administration takes seriously enough.
How do you think this speech to the joint session of Congress will play out for his reelection?
That's not entirely clear. Netanyahu has been a very prominent individual on the international circuit. He's spoken to the United Nations at least 6 times in the last 5 years, and he's spoken to Congress, of course. He's met with every major national leader across the world, and he's already established his credentials as a foreign in foreign policy. I think that that's not really. I don't think the address before the Congress is going to make all that much difference. And of course, his opponents are going to make much hay out of this. They're going to claim, well, he's doing this in order to influence the elections and prove that he does have foreign policy credentials. I don't think it's true. I think that he's already established them. However, what Netanyahu's doing, I think, would be something any Israeli prime minister would do, who is concerned about national security and the rise of Iran. He has to reach out to the Congress and inform them about Israel's concerns and convince them that his concerns, security concerns, are also America's.
Do you think that the prime minister believes or perhaps understands 2 things? One, that the faith community in America supports him, at least for the most part, and most Americans probably still feel very strongly that Israel is our ally in the Middle East, and that his problems is primarily with one person, that's President Obama. Well, I think not only does Netanyahu know of the tremendous Christian support for, particularly in the evangelical community across the United States, he knows it's stronger there and more unified than it is in the Jewish community, which is a shocking thing to say. But the Christian support, without question, has always been, or at least during his tenure, has always been much stronger than it has been amongst the Jewish community. As far as the second part of your question again. Well, his primary problem with the United States really surrounds one person, and that's the president. But Avi, when he spoke before the last joint session, and when he spoke at the UN, I don't think anybody will forgive or forget when he drew the red line on the picture. And he is certainly coming back to let us know that maybe we are literally sitting on the red line now. Do you think that's what he's going to do?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I think he's going to hammer home the importance of confronting Iran beyond anything else. Of course, the problem is, of course, Obama believes that Iran should be our ally in fighting ISIS and beating back ISIS. And therefore, he's willing to accommodate the rise of Iranian power, maybe even nuclear power, in order to get them on our side. It's a very, very, very dangerous gambit. And because the Iranians have no love for the United States and certainly no love for Barack Obama. And it's likely to fail. And the president himself, in his press conference with David Cameron not 2 weeks ago said that it's going to fall. He said that it has a less than 50% chance of succeeding. So Netanyahu is going to be capitalizing on this, and he's going to be pushing the point. Look, we've got to be united in confronting this, because it's not just a threat to the state of Israel. It represents a threat to the entire world, and America has to take leadership now. I think you'll see a very forceful speech from Benjamin Netanyahu before that session of Congress.
I look forward to it. My last question for you, and I know you have a tight schedule. How does Prime Minister Netanyahu's re-election look? Do you think he'll be re-elected?
I think it's quite close, but when you look at the polls, you have to look at not just at Netanyahu's figures, and it shows him lagging a little bit behind, but you need to look at the entire right wing in Israel, which has a far more favorable rating than the left. The left is now manned by really people who haven't established a national or international presence. Isaac Herzog in the Labour Party, Tzipi Livni for her party. The opposition to Netanyahu and to the right wing isn't very forceful. And I think that the Iranian issue is of extreme importance to Israelis right now across the political spectrum. And a lot of people don't like Netanyahu because they see him as arrogant and bluff and aloof. But in terms of his the projection of strength and of commitment to confronting Iran, I think is going to be primary in the Israeli citizens' eyes.
Avi, thank you for your time. I know you're busy. People who want to connect with you, it's avidavis.wordpress.com. Again, that's avidavis.wordpress.com. Thanks, my friend. Let's stay in touch, okay?
Terrific. Thanks so much for having me this morning.
We'll be right back.